Let's go. GM. The winner. The winner of the GM competition this time was Zero. Congratulations, Zero. You are the winner. So let's get in, gather around. Another live stream. What's the market doing? A little bit of a pump earlier, but it seems fairly short-lived. I think Litecoin's rolling over. Gonna head back to its weekly bands maybe. Be one to keep an eye on. Set some alerts at the weekly bands. 21 EMA on the weekly. 12 EMA on the weekly. Bitcoin. I don't know. I just tend to think that Bitcoin's going to head back down. It could be a bullish flag, but really, we're in a range until proven otherwise. And I think it wants to go down. Could sweep. Could be building a base. Could very well be building a base here in order to take a sweep. But I do think we go down. Not to new lows or anything. I think we just continue to range, as I mentioned. Oh, I've got the real world coins. I've got 465 coins. I'm balling. Abo, nice to see you. Should I do all new lessons first, then continue at live streams? No, you can keep watching. The live streams are something that will be relevant to you every day. So obviously, yes, keep doing the new lessons, but you don't have to skip the live streams for it. The live streams are always going to be relevant to you. Who's inside Gold Crushers? Brand new channel. Helping you to crush every goal you could ever want. Helping you to get to where you need to be. Trust me, this is a superpower. We got Bear in the chat. We got Bear, the market structure master, with his weekly goals set. We've got One Day with with the brilliant memes. So since I actually just opened it, I'd say One Day's focus for this week is to backtest the Wyckoff pattern, backtest for Wyckoff pattern recognition, replay the Bitcoin chart in H12 and draw Wyckoff patterns, watch Michael's Wyckoff theory module, remember all the different phases without a sheet, find positive EV trades within Wyckoff, share a Wyckoff example in Ask Michael. And so he set only one reward as being buy a new book. So generally, decent implementation. One thing I would say would be sorry, one sec. Guys, just remember, sharing contact information outside of the real world is a bannable offense. You can chat all you want on DMs if you unlock the DMs. But yeah. I don't see the channel. I'm Obsidian. Obsidian, did you go since your sheet is the focus of it? Did you go to here? Courses, psychology and mindset. Hold on a minute. Where's it gone? Maybe I need to refresh. Hold on. Technical issues. Yes, pure music sound you can. You just mentioned IG. No, there's no sharing of IG names here. You can absolutely get someone on the real world. You can unlock DMs if you go to the coins at the bottom. Direct messages are 170 coins. There you go. You can unlock them for that. So, For Obsidian, go to Psychology and Mindset, go to Goal Crushers, watch the lesson, and then join through the entry form. So Goal Crushers, with 1 day, one piece of advice I would have is if you're going to only have one reward, then only have one focus, right? So the example I gave was doing 100 back tests. To me, is not something that you can pass. It's not something that has a grade. It's either a straight pass or fail, right? So that's a nice simple way to look at it. Because if you want to do 100 back tests and you don't do 100, then you failed. If you set it up as a stretch goal, you could say if I do 100, let's say, I don't know, whatever, 100 is one reward, 125 is another reward, 150 is a stretch reward. And then you set targets for those. So you get 8 points for doing 100, 9 points for doing 125, 10 points for doing 150. And then you can attach 3 rewards. The point of this is that you should attach many rewards. And you should take the simple things in your life that you do anyway and place them at the end of this. If you saw my example in the video lesson, some of it was like for literally releasing a trading course of 100 videos, my first reward was to have a McDonald's, right? So it might sound very basic, but that's the point. I deprived myself of all the things I wanted until I had reached my goal. It could be something as simple as having a beer, having a cigar, right? I like what you've said there one day. I like you want to buy a new book. Good. That's a good focus. I would say though, have more rewards. If you have 5 things that you have to pass, then you need to have 5 rewards. Otherwise, let's say you do the first one, you get 6 points. Then you watch my Wyckoff theory module. Where is your incentive to do the other 3? Right? And similarly, because there's no rewards for 6, 7, 8, or 9, if there's no rewards for those, then you just have to do everything to get 1 reward. So it's going to feel like a drag. The steps along the way, the small micro rewards along the way are the entire point. Because you don't get to take 1 reward until all of them are done. And the last thing I would say, one day I was going to look through them. So watch my module. That's quantifiable. That's fine, because you either do that or you don't. Remember all the different phases without a sheet. I think that is quantifiable. You can test yourself, so you can literally try and recite it, but you have to be very specific. Do you get just 1 chance to remember it? You know, is it like on Sunday you have to sit down and remember it in one go? You remember if anyone has worked in business or in sales especially, you'll understand about the concept of setting SMART targets. So SMART is an acronym, SMART, and it stands for, let me see how well I remember my sales training: specific, measurable, actionable, something, and time specific. Can't remember what the R is for. R is for someone will know. Repeatable, probably, and time specific. Realistic. That's it, Joel. Very good. I should have known that. It's been a while. But the point I was trying to make was the first 2, specific and measurable. If your goal isn't specific and measurable, and I guess I should probably add a mini lesson, a 2 or 3 minute lesson about this. If your goal isn't specific and measurable, it's not a goal that you can stick to, right? Because if you have to be subjective about it, much like a trading system, if you have to be subjective about your goal, then it leaves it up to you to grade your own performance. And you understand how that can be terrible, because you might be really hard on yourself or you might be too easy on yourself. So, for example, replay the BTC chart in H12 and draw Wyckoff patterns. That is way too subjective, I would say, one day. Because replay the BTC chart, I would say, to make it specific and measurable, replay a BTC chart for how long, right? And draw Wyckoff patterns. How many? Yeah? So I would say replay Bitcoin chart in H12 since as far back as the chart goes. So it goes back 10,000 bars, right? For anyone who knows. The chart goes 10,000 bars. So you go onto the H12 for Bitcoin. You go all the way back as far as it can go. There it is. It goes back as far as March 2020, right? In fact, that might be because the Bybit pair only goes back that far. If you're looking at the no, even further. We're looking at the H12 chart, goes back 10,000 periods, which brings you all the way back to 2015. So, you have 8 years of price action to go through on the 12-hour chart with Bitcoin. So, by looking at that, you know you've got loads and loads of price action history to go through. So then you could say, all right, replay Bitcoin chart in H12 since, 2015, and instead of draw and say, and find 10 Wyckoff patterns, or 20 or 30 or 50, however many you think. Bear in mind you've got 8 years worth of data, so saying 10 should certainly be possible. And because what you're backtesting is a bit more of a pattern recognition thing, it's that'll take you, doing 10 of those will probably take you a while, because you're going to watch them develop. You're going to have to mark them as they develop, as if it was in real time. But my main point was, it needs to be specific, because if you get to Saturday and you've marked 8 Wyckoff patterns on the H12, you know you need to do 2 more, right? So replay the Bitcoin chart in H12. The rest of them are pretty much objective, which is good, and quantifiable. Watch my module. Okay, you either do that or you don't. That's about being honest with yourself. Remember all the different phases without a sheet. That's something, again, you can test on yourself. Find positive EV trades within Wyckoff. So, in fact, I would say that is not objective enough. What quantifies a positive EV trade? So if you don't have a rule, a set of criteria for what makes a trade EV, positive EV, then how can you say if you found one or not? Because how do we measure expected value? We do a large series of tests, and we get the average returns and the win rate, and we can calculate EV. So if you take 10 samples enough to say that a trade is EV, is positive EV. And then also, what is the trade within Wyckoff that you're trying to find? You could say, I think that one needs to be more specific. And I'm only saying this, I'm not saying this to like pick on you. This is actually really good work. I'm saying this for your benefit, because you don't want to get to Sunday and realize, shit, it's hard to actually grade myself. So be very specific with it. And thank you for that, because that reminds me that I should do a little video about very specific goal setting. Got BS specialist here. Finish the new trading lessons. Finish lessons by Sunday. Extrapolate lessons alpha into my system/mindset. Active in daily chats helping out. Pre-OPEX analysis has to be done before Thursday. So, again, highlights the importance to me as a teacher of making sure that I talk about the importance of being specific and measurable. So, finishing the lessons by Sunday, great. You either do that or you don't. Perfect. Extrapolate lessons alpha into my system/mindset. So, again, if there isn't a number beside it, it's hard to measure. So, if you want to take alpha from the lessons and put it into your system or mindset, I would say, let's say for your system, you would say, find one variable from Michael's lessons, like find one new concept and begin to test it in my system. So that means you have to watch all the lessons, you have to pick out the one concept that you think might be useful, and then begin to test it. So by Sunday, you have to have at least ran one test of your system with one new concept added. It's not about whether the alpha is positive EV or not, because you can't know that. But it's about doing the process of, I want to try and improve my system with stuff from the lessons. Therefore, by Sunday, if I have found one concept and I have plugged it into my system and I have taken at least one live trade, let's say one forward test with $1, that would quantify a win. Yeah. Active daily in chats helping out. So again, make it measurable. What does that mean to you? Does that mean I send at least one message every day? I know you already do that and more. Maybe it's better to say 7-day streak of being in the chats, so you don't miss any days. Or you could say, you could set yourself a target for amount of messages. You could say, and if you're talking about helping out, you could say, make a point to reply to 3 students, minimum of 3 replies to students each day. That's your way of quantifying that you're helping out. And then pre-OPEX analysis.